Hi everyone, Chaz916 here. Thanks for joining me. Today I am going to continue my Proto Fae language project. I am working on proto-languages, Elvish, Dwarvish, Gnomish, and Goblin. I intend in this project to incorporate runes into them and develop a 150-word lexicon developed from Toki, Pona, Conlang. This is video number 3. I entitled it A New Tact. You'll find out why later. All of the videos in this series will be available on my YouTube. I created a playlist for them. You can find them there. Please consider following and subscribing. This will encourage YouTube to share my videos with more people. Thank you in advance. Comments, questions, suggestions, etc. are welcome. You can put them in the comment section below the video. I will look for them. I will try to answer them if there is any. Okay, so let's get started. I titled this video A New Tact, and the reason is because, well, I needed a new direction. After doing a lot of research and playing around with the Elder Runes, trying to make things somehow flesh, it just didn't seem to be working. Number one is I didn't really have a good concept of what kind of primal forces I wanted to deal with or anything like that. And the other is that, well, basically, the runes are more closely associated with cosmological forces, not really primal. So all of this was leading to just too many problems, and, I tried, stretching things, expanding the explanations of the Elder Futhark rune meanings, but no matter what I did, it just wasn't quite working. So basically, I realized that I was going to need a new tact. Okay, so the first thing I did was I decided that I am going to still use the Toki Pona word list as my lexicon for creating my proto-languages. But I really wanted the Fae languages to be primal runes, and this path just wasn't working. So I went from there. I came up with the idea that I needed to define exactly what are primal forces. I mean, it was obvious that I didn't have a good idea of what they were. So I started by defining 5 primal forces: sun, sky, earth, sea, and moon. Those are the 5 primals because that is nature. That's the primal nature that is all around us. The sun in the sky, the moon in the sky itself, the earth underneath of us, and the oceans, the seas. Now, this brought me to another problem. Okay, 5 runes is not enough for primal runes. I mean, it would just be too hard to work them into a magic system. So I came up with the concept of para-primal forces. Now, I defined para-primal forces as forces that manifest out of the interaction of the primal forces. Kind of a simple concept, one that's been used before. I think in D&D they called them para-elementals. So kind of the same concept, but applied to primal forces. I came up with wind, rain, fog, lightning, thunder, ice, shadow, day, night, darkness, forest, life, death, decay, rage, and time. Now, from a magical standpoint, this works much, much better. So, I'm going at this point, that's looking pretty good. Now, obviously it's subject to change. This is a first draft. So I decided to chart it out just to get a look at it. Okay, so now I started the same way I did before. My alphanumerics, my proto-language, and primal forces. Now, these are just placeholders. We will be going into those more in the next video. Now, on the alphas, I picked out the primals, and I marked them with a little star just so I could keep track of them, and then the rest were paraprimals. Now, I came up with two that weren't paraprimals, but I put them in there for good reasons. The first one is rune, which means knowing. Now, if you spend much time in nature, you know that nature has a way of showing you certain truths. That, to me, is a kind of knowing. And runes are a kind of way of knowing. So that seemed to be a good fit. And then the second one that I came up with was awe. And the reason why is because that is my interaction when I go out into an area of primal nature, an area that's very, very seldomly touched. That's what I feel when I'm out there and I see something really spectacular. I feel awe. Okay, moving on. At this point, I wanted to tackle a few basic language issues. Number one, what's my component of construction? I mean, how am I going to construct my languages? I decided to go with the basics, and that is, we're going to do syllables. And a syllable is just basically one or more vowels and some consonants, okay? So just a basic syllable kind of construction. I'm not a language expert, so I wanted to keep it simple. And then I was faced again with my lingering question, what do Fae languages sound like? So I did what I always do. I Googled it. And I also checked up on what D&D said. So here's what I found that seemed to be useful. Dwarvish is full of hard consonants and guttural sounds. Now, it sounds useful, but I had no idea what a hard consonant is or what a guttural sounds are. But it's a start. And then I Googled Elvish and checked out the WOTC source again, and apparently Elvish is fluid with subtle intonations. I found subtle means like slight rises and falls, and then intricate grammar. Okay, so that's kind of useful, but again, fluid? What is that? And, okay, I figured out subtle, but it still left me with questions. So, what did I do? Well, I Googled them. I Googled hard, soft, guttural, there we go, fluid, and checked to see what I could find. Okay, so I did find some useful stuff. For hard and soft, I came up with hard first. Hard and soft syllables. Okay, so hard syllables are usually a vowel and a hard consonant. And there's a lot of these. There's B, D, G, J, K, P, Q, R, T, and then some combination of T, C, H, V, and X, and Z. Okay, and soft syllables are syllables with either a no consonant or soft consonants or combinations of consonants. F, H, L, M, N, S, H, and T, H. So this was starting to help me figure out, okay, I have an idea now for how my syllables are going to be constructed for the different Fae languages. I also looked up liquid, and I got that one. The term refers to sonorant consonants. Now I don't know what that means, but L, R, M, and H with one or two vowels. So now I know liquid, I know hard, and I know soft. I also found light flowing, and apparently that is kind of complicated, but it's basically lots of vowels, specifically with front ones like I and E, and then sonorant consonants. So again, liquid and soft and flowing, that's starting to come together. And then I found guttural. Guttural is basically hard guttural language, and they've got all kinds of specifics about it. But the part that was useful to me is the consonants K, Q, X, and also the vowels that are hard, the harder vowels. A, O, and U. Okay, so those things kind of gave me a basic idea of what I wanted to do. So basically, Elvish is going to be vowels with soft consonants, or soft consonants, and then Dwarvish is going to be vowels with hard consonants, and Goblin is going to be even harder. It's going to have hard vowels and consonants. And of course, Elvish is going to have a little bit of the liquid, flowing quality to it. So now I'm starting to get an idea of what they sound like and how I'm going to construct them. Okay, guys, I really hate to leave you there, but I gotta save some good stuff for the next one. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. I do hope that you enjoyed this. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, follow, all of that kind of stuff. It helps me to get my work out there. It will help more people see the good stuff that I have here. So please help out if you're of a mind to. Again, thank you for joining me, and I shall see you guys on the next one.